You won't believe this. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into some of the most ridiculous crimes ever caught on camera. You won't believe what these people were thinking. We're talking about criminals who are so unbelievably clueless, they make you wonder how they even manage to tie their shoes in the morning. From robbers getting outsmarted by pizza boxes to burglars taking selfies at the crime scene, these criminals are about to give you a serious case of the face palms. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and shake your head in disbelief as we count down the 7 dumbest crimes caught on camera. Picture this. It's a dark and stormy night. The kind of night where you wouldn't want to be outside unless you absolutely had to be. The streets are slick with rain, and visibility is almost zero. The wind is howling, rain is pouring down, and the whole scene feels like something out of a horror movie. You can barely hear yourself think over the noise of the storm. And then, out of nowhere, this guy decides it's the perfect time to steal an ATM. Yeah, you heard that right. In the middle of this torrential downpour, he thinks, why not? I mean, talk about bad timing, right? You'd think he'd pick a quieter, less conspicuous time, but no, he's going for it now. So he pulls up to this ATM outside a gas station, jumps out of his truck, and he's got this heavy-duty chain. It's like he's prepared for a heist, but maybe not the weather. He wraps it around the ATM like he's trying to lasso a runaway cow, making sure it's secure. You can almost see the determination in his eyes, even through the rain. Then he hops back in his truck and slams on the gas. The engine roars to life, and you can feel the tension building. You'd think this ATM would just pop right out, right? Like it would be an easy grab and go. Wrong. This thing is bolted to the ground like it's Fort Knox. It's not going anywhere without a fight. But this guy, he's determined. He's not giving up that easily. You can tell he's put a lot of thought into this, and he's not about to let a few bolts stop him. He keeps hitting the gas, the engine's roaring, tires are screeching, smoke is everywhere. It's like a scene from an action movie, but it's real life. And then bam, the ATM breaks free. You can almost hear the sound of metal giving way, and for a moment, it looks like he's actually going to pull this off. But here's the best part. Instead of just taking the ATM, he ends up dragging the whole thing down the street. It's like a bizarre parade, with the ATM as the grand marshal. Sparks are flying, the ATM is bouncing off the pavement, it's total chaos. You can't help but wonder what his plan was, or if he even had one. It's a scene that will be talked about for years to come. This next story is about a pizza delivery guy who's about to give a whole new meaning to the phrase, fight fire with fire, or should I say, fight crime with pizza. So, this delivery guy is just doing his job, bringing some hungry customers their pepperoni and cheese, when suddenly, this guy jumps out from behind a bush. He's waving a weapon around, demanding money. Now most people would probably just hand over the cash, right? Not this delivery guy. He's not about to let some wannabe robber ruin his night. He looks the robber dead in the eye, reaches into his delivery bag, and pulls out a pizza box. And before the robber can even blink, the delivery guy throws the pizza box at him like a frisbee. I'm talking a perfect spiral, right into the robber's face. The robber totally wasn't expecting that. He's stunned, covered in pepperoni and cheese, and he takes off running. This story is about a burglar who clearly missed the memo about security cameras. This guy breaks into a house thinking he's home free, and then decides to take a little souvenir of his crime spree, a selfie. I'm not kidding. He finds the homeowner's phone just lying around, picks it up and snaps a few selfies. He's posing, making faces, even trying to get a good angle, but here's the thing. The homeowner had a security app on their phone that automatically backs up photos to the cloud. So guess what the homeowner sees when they check their phone later that day? You guessed it, selfies of the burglar chilling in their living room. The police were called, the photos were shared online, and the burglar was caught within hours. Talk about a selfie fail. Chapter 4. The Dancing Thief. Busting a move before busting the law. Get ready to groove because this next story is about a thief who just can't resist the urge to dance, even when he's committing a crime. This guy breaks into a store in the middle of the night thinking he's all alone. But little does he know the security cameras are rolling and they're about to capture the most bizarre robbery ever. Instead of heading straight for the cash register or grabbing valuables, this guy starts dancing. And I'm not talking about a little jig, I'm talking full-on breakdancing, moonwalking, the works. He's spinning on the floor, doing the robot, even attempting a headstand. It's like he thinks he's auditioning for a dance crew instead of robbing a store. Of course, the security footage went viral, and the police were able to identify him from his, shall we say, unique dance moves. Chapter 5. The Costume Bandit, Robbing in Disguise, a really bad one. This next story proves that not all heroes wear capes and not all criminals are masterminds. Sometimes the line between comedy and crime gets hilariously blurred. This guy decides to rob a store, but instead of wearing a simple mask, he goes all out with a ridiculous costume. You'd think he was auditioning for a comedy show rather than planning a heist. And I'm not talking about a realistic mask or anything, no. He chose something that would make even a Halloween partygoer do a double take. We're talking about a full-body banana costume, a giant chicken suit, you name it. Imagine the most absurd costume you can think of, and he probably wore it. It's like he raided a Halloween store and picked the most outrageous outfit he could find. Maybe he thought the costume would make him unrecognizable, but it did quite the opposite. He walks into the store looking like a walking, talking cartoon character, and you can almost hear the cartoon sound effects in the background, and demands money from the cashier. The scene is so surreal that it feels like a prank, but it's all too real. The cashier, who's probably trying really hard not to laugh, hands over the cash, likely wondering if they're on a hidden camera show. And the costumed bandit makes his grand escape, or at least he tries to. But here's the thing, the costume made him stand out like a sore thumb. It's hard to blend into a crowd when you look like a giant piece of fruit or a barnyard animal. The police were able to track him down within hours, following a trail of bewildered witnesses and security footage that looked more like a comedy reel. Thanks to the numerous eyewitness accounts of a giant banana or a 6-foot chicken running down the street, it's safe to say this is one criminal who won't be winning any awards for stealth. Chapter 6. The Stuck Burglar, Trapped by His Own Dumbness. This story is about a burglar who learned the hard way that sometimes it's better to stick to the straight and narrow, especially when you're claustrophobic. This guy decides to break into a building by crawling through the ventilation shaft. He's seen it in movies, he thinks it's a foolproof plan, but what he doesn't realize is that real life isn't like the movies. He squeezes his way into the vent, starts crawling through the ductwork, and then he gets stuck. He's wedged in there tight, can't move forward, can't go back. He's trapped. He starts yelling for help, but nobody can hear him. Eventually, the fire department has to be called to cut him out of the vent. He's humiliated, covered in dust and grime, and facing a whole bunch of charges. Chapter 7. The Forgetful Robber, Covering His Face, Too Late. Last but not least, we have a story about a robber who forgot the first rule of robbery: conceal your identity. This tale is almost too ridiculous to believe, but it happened. Imagine planning a heist, going over every detail, and then forgetting the most crucial part of your disguise. This guy walks into a store, ready to commit a crime, but there's just one tiny problem. He forgot his mask. You can almost see the gears turning in his head as he realizes his mistake. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck. He realizes this at the last minute, but it's too late. The moment of realization is priceless. His eyes widen, his face pales, and you can almost hear him thinking, "Oh no, what have I done?" He's already in the store, the cashier is staring at him, and the security cameras are rolling. The cashier's expression is a mix of confusion and amusement, probably thinking, is this guy for real? So, what does he do? He panics and tries to cover his face with his hands. It's a desperate move and it only makes things worse. His hands are shaking and he's clearly out of his depth. I'm talking about a full-on peekaboo move like he's playing hide-and-seek with the cashier. It's almost comical, like something out of a slapstick comedy. But, here's the thing. His hands aren't exactly inconspicuous. They're not covering his face well at all. In fact, they're drawing more attention to him. The cameras capture his face clear as day, and the police are able to identify him easily. It's like he handed them his mugshot on a silver platter. He's arrested shortly after, proving that sometimes the simplest crimes are the easiest to solve, especially when you forget to wear a mask. This story serves as a hilarious reminder that even in the world of crime, preparation is key. Forgetting something as basic as a mask can turn your grand plan into a complete fiasco. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content. We've got tons of crazy stories, unbelievable facts, and hilarious moments to share with you. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And be sure to let us know in the comments which crime you thought was the dumbest. Was it the ATM thief who dragged a vault down the street? Or the selfie-loving burglar? Until next time, stay safe, stay smart, and try not to end up on our next compilation of dumb criminals.